What's up, guys? Jason J. Hamilton here with KIS Financial Planning. We're back again, and we're going to ask one question which I think you all want to know the answer to. What should the next president do about the student loan crisis? Last week you learned how bad the problem is. It's going to be tremendous when this thing really starts hitting the fan and these people start having to pay off their $200,000, $300,000, or $400,000 loans. It's going to destroy our country if we don't do something about it. So I'm here today to ask people what they think we should do when this next president gets in office, and we'll go from there. What do you think our next president should do to address this crisis of student loan debt for someone who's going into college?
Like make interest lower for all the loans that you need for college. I'd say the same.
What do you think this next president should do to help out students that are facing some of these student loan crises?
Well, I think just in general, the financial aid industry or whatever is that should be fixed a lot, because a lot of people are not getting money based on what their parents' income is, but their parents' income is not solely on that child, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Some people have more children, some people's parents' income can only support the basic minimum. And then also maybe making classes in general a lot cheaper, textbooks, resources for kids to be able to get jobs, to be able to make money to pay for college, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. So, Donald, Hillary, if you guys are listening, Teresa gave you the answer, man. This is what the young kids want. It doesn't cost a lot. It's just rearranging a system that's been broken. So, Teresa, thank you so much today for answering those questions. And it's okay if you use this for our YouTube channel.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming back. Do you think college should be free?
No, because then we'd have too much impacted schools.
I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of young people feel like, oh, it's given to me for free. The problem is your tax rates go up. And so the minute you start making over the average $45,000 or so, $50,000, you pay a lot more in tax. So you guys are much smarter than the average bears these days. I want to thank you very much for your answers. And is it okay if we use this on our YouTube channel and show people?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Randy, I have one question for you.
Sure.
So we have two great candidates coming this fall for a potential presidential election. That's a sarcastic comment in case you didn't catch that.
Yes.
But we're gonna be stuck with one of them, right? So we have $1.44 trillion in outstanding student loan debt right now, and we have a huge crisis of it's really not going anywhere at this point. What do you think the next president should do to help out with either students that are not in college or students that are in college at this point?
Well, I think overall education is important.
Yeah.
And obviously that starts when you're young.
Yeah, I agree.
And then going to junior high and high school and understanding what am I going to do after I get out of high school. So I think in high school or before, they should be thinking this. So some students have parents that didn't go to college, and you have other ones that do.
Yeah.
You know, so it depends on where your whole family unit's at, and then also the school teaching the kids to make right choices.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's important first of all.
So have you ever heard of a school that's really good at teaching kids properly to plan for college, years and years before they go?
No.
Yeah. Neither have I. So it relies on the parents at that point, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day. So something we're trying to do is provide more information from the parents. Not a lot of resources out there. Do you have any kids, Randy?
I have no children.
Okay, good. Me either. I have 2 dogs, and that's about the most I can take at this point. So, but there's a lot of parents out there. You're busy. You know, how do you think parents could find the time to get that information, to find those resources?
Well, I think with online, you can look for stuff. I mean, if you're going to have a child, you should invest in your child's future.
Yeah.
And your child should be the most important thing you want your child to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think education in general is a way to succeed.
Yeah.
And then working and, doing that. I think education is one of the most important things. And I think that's the thing that's wrong with this country, where a lot of people are going to jail, or all these riots going on, or things like that, is because people don't either have the ability to get educated because they just have poor schooling, or they just come from a bad environment. I just think education starting young is important.
I agree, man. Thank you so much for that today, Randy. I appreciate that. This is an election year, right?
Yes.
We have these 2 excellent choices that we're going to pick from. Thank you. It's a sarcastic question, right? But we know this is a crisis, $1.44 trillion, and this is non-bankruptable debt, right? So what do you think these presidents should do to help the situation out in our country?
I think it's easier to pay off student loan debt if your cost of living is less,
Yeah.
because what you make then can actually go towards paying bills.
Yeah.
With cost of living so high, especially in Orange County, like
Yeah.
it is nearly impossible
Yeah.
to pay off student loan debt. Like
Yeah.
it's, I mean, 25 plus years, it's really over a lifetime. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't go away. And
Yeah.
then when you add life on life terms in that mix, there's so many people I've helped that like they'll die before they pay off their student loans.
It's very true. Do you know what happens to student loans when you die, if you have federal versus private?
Well, your federal loans will just get kind of washed away.
Yeah, your federal loans get forgiven. With the private student loans, those are still actually required to be paid by your estate.
Right.
So there's plenty of people that are letting that grow, but that's not going away.
Right.
So when we talk to students that have large student loan debts, it's a big priority to pay those private loans as soon as possible. There's a lot less flexibility, a lot more risk to them, especially if there's co-signers, and to really puts a lot more pressure on people if something were to go bad in their lives, and they had to take a break from paying. So
There's not such an urgency to pay off federal student
there's a lot
loan
more
debt.
flexibility, yeah, absolutely, especially with the public student loan forgiveness program. So awesome, Tina, thank you so much.
no problem.
We have two awesome choices, right? Everyone's excited, right? It is what it is at this point, but these presidents have a lot of power and they have a lot of ability to help out students if they did make some certain decisions, right? What do you think the next president should do to try to help alleviate some of this pressure on these new students either coming into college or ones that they're already there and getting out with big debts?
The new ones, there should be a percent of their income paid back rather than a dollar amount
Okay.
owed. How would you work that out?
Yeah, that's actually interesting because there is something called the Public Student Loan Forgiveness Program. If people do work for government or public service, where if they pay 10 to 15% of their disposable income for 10 years of their federal loans, they can get those forgiven. So it's interesting you mentioned that. That is something they're doing, but the private loans are a whole nother problem. Those are like 20 to 25 years, and so that's essentially a lifetime. So. As you can see, guys, this is just an insane problem. Keith, thank you so much today.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. So we're going into an election year, right?
Yes.
You're on the ground, right? You're on the ground with the students. What grade do you teach, or what area do you teach?
I teach special needs students.
Okay.
I have kids who are aged 3 to 12.
Okay.
With severe disabilities.
Okay. So what do you think this next president, whoever comes into office, should do to address this crisis?
Educate.
Educate.
Educate the students who are going into college. Educate the middle schoolers, and then continue to educate them into high school so that they
Yeah.
are very well aware.
Yeah.
Before they even begin college.
Yeah. And that's something we're doing this for, is we're trying to help out young teens before they go into college, get the information so that they can make good decisions for themselves. But it's through a nonprofit, it's not through the government or anything. But I agree, it needs to be in the schools.
Yes.
The education needs to be in the schools so they're set up properly for the future. Awesome, Tina. Thank you so much today. Appreciate your time.